Hi guys, this video is a little bit late, but I'm going to show you how I made some Christmas things. And I have these jute bags for making Christmas sacks from Hobbycraft. And I also have these cute, bit bent, these little spiral notebooks, which you can use any kind of notebook you want at all. But I thought these look quite nice because the paper is nice and thick and it's multicolored, for making some comic book blanks and lots of scraps of colours. So first of all, I'm going to show you how I made the comic book and how I customized them. And I'm just using the comic book font. Now I'm still very new to the Cricut, so I'm just learning myself how to do these things. And I'm just flicking through until I find a font that I like, which is this one. So I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. And I'm trying something new here I haven't done before with the Cricut, which is layering the different sheets of vinyl on top of each other. And just adjusting the text there by the size. And then I'm going to look in the images. Now Cricut has something called Cricut Access, which you have to pay for. They do have free images and free projects too, but I've been paying, I think it's $7.99 to access all the images and different projects on it. And at the moment it's worth it because I'm learning. But there are other ways to find projects too if you don't want to subscribe, like just finding them from different makers on YouTube. And just getting a mixture of these fonts that I like this Crash. Yeah, I think I prefer that definitely to the yellow ones because there's more to it. And that was quite cool, not sure. So I'm going to cut them, and this time it's going to cut different colours. So it's a little bit more complicated. And like I said, I haven't done this before, but I do have the colours in. So I'm going to start off by cutting the black vinyl, which is the names, some of the red, and just the different colours that I need in order to layer everything up. So you do need to have a selection of vinyls here, and I'm using permanent vinyl, but you can also use the removable stuff too. And then back to the black for more of the lettering. So this one technique definitely takes a little bit more time, and it helps if you have multiple mats. So to start off, I'm just going to start weeding. This is quite easy to do. You're supposed to do it on the mat, but never mind. I thought that's quite an easy one to do. And then just cutting out these little pieces. And this is the text that sits on top of the other one, which I've never done this before, so hopefully my eyesight is okay for lining up. And then using the transfer paper, I'm going to take that off, which I always find a bit tricky, and line it up. Get that stuck on, which wasn't too bad. And then line that up, and I like it. I think it looks pretty cool. Then next up, I'm going to do the cool little comic symbols on the side. And just checking the image to make sure I've got it in the right order, because this is lined up in a very specific way. So I think it goes from the yellow to the orange. There are different techniques that people use to line these up neatly, but I'm just going to do this by eye. There's me realising that you have to use the transfer tape, it just doesn't work if you don't. Adding on the orange there, and then the red. Now, I realised after doing this that you can reuse the transfer paper, you don't have to keep cutting new pieces of it. But I didn't know this at the time, so that's why I keep cutting these sheets. Then I've got the white for doing the crash word. I think that looks pretty cool, very 3D. Then I'm doing the POW one on the other side. And that's on the other side at the bottom. Then I'm going to add the personalisation or the rest of the lettering, which again isn't too difficult to weed. And adding the extra font at the bottom of 2021 because this is a Christmas present. Now these are some comic blank sheets which I printed from the internet, and I'm going to trim them down so they fit onto the pages better. This is just regular printer paper. Just trimming off the edge there too. And there's different ways to stick this down. You can use a glue stick, you can use roller. So I'm using the roller here. Even though this is a paper glue, I realised that it does leave the paper a little bit bubbly, which I don't like. So in the end, I did switch to double-sided sticky tape. Next up, we're going to move on to the Christmas sacks. You can use different types of sacks. The ones I'm using here, these kind of jute bags, are fine. They're not brilliant because they're not very soft, but they work pretty well for what I want them for. And again, I'm just choosing different fonts and making up a little design, looking through the Cricut images to see if there's anything that I like to iron on. Because it's a jute, it's a bit bumpy, so I'm not going to go for anything too intricate because I don't think it will look that good. It probably won't settle so well. Just to let you know, I made 3 of these. Even though I'm showing you how I made one, I did make 3 of these for each child. And I'm just cutting out here the pieces that I'll need. And after cutting, I'm going to stick them straight onto a sticky mat. It's easy to weed this way, and just start weeding and getting rid of all the pieces that I don't need. This is an iron-on permanent vinyl, so you can see it looks slightly different to the stuff that I used for the comic books. They're just thinner, and also you must remember when you're ironing something on, it will always be mirrored, so it's back to front because you're going to iron it face down. I still occasionally make this mistake of forgetting to turn it on. I personally find weeding quite relaxing. I guess it can be a slow process sometimes, but at the moment I'm still quite enjoying it. Now that they're all out, I'm just going to iron them on. I'm using, this is grease-proof paper, which works pretty well. I don't think it's the same as butcher paper. Maybe it is. Very, very, very similar. But this is cheap and it's easy to get hold of compared to butcher paper, for me anyway. And it seems to work fine. So I'm just giving that an iron. I've only got the small iron at the moment, small Cricut. I wish I had the bigger one because this takes a while and you have to make sure that you've covered all the different surfaces. And I'm just adding them on bit by bit, and particularly because the jute bag has a really funny texture, I'm just trying to make sure that it's melted into it. And I'm just adding some finishing touches now, that are little baubles on the side. Like I said, can't really do anything too intricate here, and I'm just going to start removing the plastic. And one thing to remember, because it's a big design and because I'm using a tiny iron, is not to touch any of the plastic, again, because it will all melt off. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that video and I'll see you next time. Please subscribe. Bye.